What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Game Day with Trey. Of course, this is your host, Trey, and today we're going to talk about this NFL Sunday afternoon matchup between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Baltimore Ravens. All right, so this game will be kicked off December 1st, 4:25 p.m. East Coast time, Baltimore, Maryland. The line is currently at Eagles plus 2.5. Over under is at 50.5. There has been slight movement in this line. The line was at Baltimore by 3, and over under was at 51, guys. As far as the weather in this game and how that's looking right now, and how it's going to look at M&T Bank, it's going to be between 40 degrees and 36 degrees. It's going to be 40 degrees at kickoff and 36 at the end of this, guys. Partially cloudy. Winds about 8.1 miles an hour to 5.8 miles per hour. So you can expect a hard-hitting, good, tough game between these two rough and tumble teams, man. All right, so let's look at this real quick, right? So last time these two teams did meet, it was Philadelphia at Baltimore, all right? And Philadelphia ended up winning 16-13, guys. That was way back last year on August 9th. Or no, that was this year, I'm sorry, inside of the in the preseason, man. Anyway, so Saquon Barkley and the Philadelphia Eagles make their second to last road trip of the regular season on Sunday to face Derrick Henry and the Baltimore Ravens. NFC East leading Eagles are 9-2, have won 7 in a row, and play 4 of the next final 6 games in Philadelphia, traveling only about 125 miles to visit the Ravens this weekend and the Washington Commanders in Week 16. Now, Sunday's game features the NFL's 2 leading rushers. Barkley has 1,392 yards and Derrick Henry has 1,325 yards. They're far ahead of Green Bay's Josh Jacobs in third place with 944 yards. Henry leads the league with 13 rushing touchdowns, whereas Barkley has 10 and is tied for 4th. And the Philadelphia Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts has 11 and he's tied for 2nd, man. This weekend's matchup also features 2 of the top candidates for most valuable player of the week honors in 13, Barkley and Baltimore quarterback Lamar Jackson, who won his 2nd MVP award last year. This competition includes between Josh Allen and Jared Goff for the MVP this year, guys. So these guys, this is definitely a heavyweight bout. It's going to be knockout punches thrown left and right. It's just who's going to survive. Okay, the Baltimore Ravens are 8-4 this season after they defeated the Chargers by a score of 30-23 in their last game. Baltimore led 14-13 at the half, but they were able to pull away, and the outcome was really never in doubt in the fourth quarter, man. The Ravens outgained LA by a total of 389 to 285 yards, tied the turnover battle at 0, and went 8 for 15 on third down in the game. Lamar Jackson threw for 177 yards, 2 touchdowns, while Derrick Henry had 140 yards on the ground with 24 carries. All right. Philadelphia Eagles, we know they're 9-2, and they defeated the Rams by a score of 37-20 last week. Philadelphia only led 20-14 in the third quarter, but they scored next 17 points and pulled away for the win. Now, the Eagles outgained LA by a total of 481 to 290 yards, won the turnover battle 1-0, and went 9 of 15 on third down in the game. Jalen Hurts threw for 179 yards, 1 touchdown, while Saquon Barkley had 255 yards and 2 scores on the ground, guys. All right, so taking a deeper look into this matchup, you got to understand the injury report. We all know what's going on. It's a mass unit on both sides. Can you trust it? Can you not, man? We know they need Devontae Smith. He's still questionable nursing that hamstring, but I expect to see him to play. Keely Ringo, he's still questionable dealing with that calf injury. Expect to see him out there. Darius Slay Jr. is going to be out with the concussion. Sidney Brown's questionable with the knee injury. He's still managing the safety for the Philadelphia Eagles. And then, of course, when you look on the other end and you're looking at Baltimore, we all know Baltimore's got several players that are in and out. Roquan Smith, he's still hampered by that hamstring injury. It's questionable. Don't know what's really going to be going on out there. Kyle Van Noy is also questionable with his hamstring injury. Expect to see both of those guys out there on the field. So really notable players for the Baltimore Ravens on this injury report. Looking at the matchup stats for these two teams, man, the Philadelphia Eagles are averaging 26.9 points per game. That's the seventh best offense in the NFL, and they're going against a defense that's really porous. They're giving up 24.5 points per game. That's the 23rd worst defense in the NFL, man. Philadelphia is getting 5.9 yards a game. Yards a play. I'm sorry. That's the 8th best in the NFL. Going against a Baltimore defense that gives up 5.5 yards a play. That's 19th. That's middle of the pack, man. Then third down, Philly, they convert 43.05% of the time. They're 7th best in the NFL. They will be able to convert against this Baltimore defense because guess what? Or at least statistically it says they will be able to. Depends on what they do. And I'm going to get a little bit deeper in that in a second. But statistically it says that they should be able to convert because Baltimore allows you to convert on third down 43.64% of the time. That's 25th in the NFL. And if you get down to the red zone, they allow you to score a touchdown 55.26% of the time, giving up 2.6 touchdowns a game, middle of the pack and all of that, and all of those stats, guys. Whereas you're going against a Philly offense who, in the red zone, they score a touchdown 55.81% of the time, middle of the pack, but they score 3.2 touchdowns a game. That's 6th best in the NFL, guys. And you're looking at a Baltimore offense that's the 2nd best offense in the NFL, 30.3 points per game. And going against a Philly defense that's supposed to be the 6th best in the NFL, man. So there's a rubber meeting the road, man. All them Georgia Bulldog players they drafted are finally stepping their game up. And then, of course, DeJounte, we love him. Or whatever his name is, that cornerback they got over there. We love that white boy. He a beast. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's going to be a tough sled right now for Baltimore. Because let's look at this, right? A little bit deeper. Baltimore gets 7 yards a play. That's number 1 in the NFL. They're going against a team in Philly that only gives up 4.7 yards a play. That is the 2nd best defense in the NFL on yards per play. Third down, Baltimore converts 46.97% of the time. That's 3rd best in the NFL. Problem is, Philly is the 3rd best defense in the NFL on third down. They only allow you to convert 32.56% of the time. What about in the red zone? Well, when Baltimore gets to the red zone, they check that box 78.72% of the time. It's number 1 offense in the NFL, getting 3.8 touchdowns a game, the 2nd best in the NFL. Going against the 5th best defense in the red zone in the NFL, they only allow you to check that box 46.88% of the time, and they only allow 1.9 touchdowns a game on literally. So you're going against rubber meeting the road right here, man. This is going to be a rock'em sock'em hard fought football game. I can't wait to watch it. When you're looking in the how these teams will be able to move the ball, so is Philly going to be able to run the ball? No. Philly might, maybe a little. Saquon is going to break out, and, Jalen Hurts will do what he does. So I do expect Saquon to have some success running the ball, but not as much as Derrick Henry's going to have, okay? Because Philly, they get 5.2 yards per rush, okay? That's 2nd best in the NFL. They're going against a defense that only gives up 3.5. All right, that's the number 1 defense against the run in the NFL. They only give up 77.9 yards a game on the ground. That's the 2nd best in the NFL, and don't even give you a full touchdown a game. That's 8th best in the NFL. Now, Philly does boast some good numbers because, like I said, they get 5.2 yards per rush. That's 2nd best in the NFL. They full game, they get 193.4. That's the best in the NFL, and they get 2 touchdowns a game on the ground. That's why this game is going to be very, very hard fought. And the clock is going to tick. I personally let you know that. I think there's going to be so much running in this game that the clock is going to be consistently running, man. Baltimore on offense, they run the ball with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. They get 5.8 yards per rush. Full game, they get 180.2 yards per game, and they get 1.4 touchdowns a game. So that respectively is the number 1 yards per rush, number 2 yards per game, and number 5 touchdowns per game. And they're going against a defense that tightens up full game. They only give up 99.2 yards per game. That's 7th best in the NFL, but per rush they give up 4.3. Okay, that's the 11th best in the NFL, and they don't give you touchdowns. They don't even give you a full touchdown on the ground. So Like, what's going to happen here for Baltimore? What's going to happen here for Derrick Henry? What's going to happen here for Lamar Jackson? Are they going to be able to be successful against this Philly defense, man? Because I know Philly is going to have some success against this Baltimore defense, man. And this is why. Philly, per pass play, get 8.3 yards per pass. That's 6th best in the NFL. And Baltimore gives you 7.6. They're the 26th worst in the NFL, man. As far as getting to the quarterback, they don't get to the quarterback. They only get to the quarterback 7.66% of the time. And problem is that Philly, they allow you to get to the quarterback 29th worst in the NFL, 9.43% of the time. Almost like that's pathetic. Okay, but the thing is, Baltimore, they do full game give up the yards, 277.7. That's the 31st worst in the NFL passing. But then they're going against the Philly deep offense, who's not really passing the ball successfully because they only get 195.7 yards per game. That's horrible to be Jalen Hurts. You ain't even getting to 200 yards a game, man. That's 25th in the NFL, man. So you got to tighten up if you want to be competitive in this game, especially going against a Lamar Jackson offense that gets 8.9 yards per pass. Number 1 in the NFL. Problem is, Philly, they only give up 6.1 per pass. That's number 1 in the NFL as well. You know what I mean? Hell, they only give up 175.5 yards per game through the air, guys. That is the 3rd best defense full game against the pass in the NFL. So Baltimore better stick to the run, and they better stick to it right, because it ain't going to work. It ain't going to work if you don't do it right, man. Todd Monken, he has got to stay on script. He's got to stay in the scheme. You got to run the ball. You got to run the ball, man. If you don't run the ball consistently to open up the pass, this ain't going to work, because this team right here, they are really feeling themselves right now, this Philadelphia Eagles team, man. Best thing is, though, that they got going for them is that Baltimore will be playing in Baltimore, because Baltimore scores 32.8 points per game at home and only gives up 20.6. Whereas Philly on the road, they score 28.7 and they give up 17.1. Now, recently in the last 3 games, Philly scoring 32.3 points per game and only giving up 14.7. And Baltimore in the last 3 games, they're scoring 27 and giving up 25. So, I can definitely understand why the line is so small. Also, while the over-under is so high. You know what I mean? In the last 3 games, that Philly defense on 3rd down, they only allow you to convert 17.65% of 3rd downs, man. So you better get right, because Baltimore's converting 50% of their 3rd downs, but when you're going against somebody that allows you to convert 17.65, man, boy, that's a problem. That's a problem. Okay. Now the thing is, on the road they give you a little bit better than that. But in the last 3 games, come on, man. Come on. Now Baltimore defense is getting a little bit better on 3rd down. They only allow you to convert 36.96% of the time in the last 3 games, and they're going against a Philly offense that's converting 52.38% on 3rd down. So there's opportunity there. There is opportunity there. But the way this Philly defense is looking in the last 3 games, man, I don't know. You got to always lean defense in these types of matchups, man. So when you're looking at the situational, right? Situationally, okay, so Philly's 9-2 straight up. Baltimore's 8-4. We already spoken about that. But on the road, Philly's 5-1, and at home, Baltimore's 4-1. Rubber meeting the road here, guys. As an away underdog, though, Philly's 2-0, and as a home favorite, Baltimore's 4-1. Now, when you're looking against the spread, Philly's 7-4 against the spread. Baltimore's 6-5-1. At home, Baltimore's 2-2-1 against the spread, whereas Philly on the road is 5-1. Philly on the road as an away underdog is 2-0 against the spread, and as a home favorite, Baltimore's 2-2-1, guys. Against non-conference teams, Philly don't fare that well. It's 1-2 against the spread, and Baltimore's 2-0-1. Now, when you look over here, over unders, it's been 5 to the over, 6 to the under for Philly, whereas 10 to the over and 2 to the under for Baltimore, man. At home, they're 4 to the over, 1 to the under, and on the road, Philly's 3 to the over and 3 to the under. As an away underdog, Philly is 1 to the over, 1 to the under, whereas the home favorite has been 4 to the over, 1 to the under for Baltimore, guys. Against non-conference teams, it's been 3 to the over for Baltimore, and for Philly, it's been 2 to the over, 1 to the under. All right, in the last 10 games that these 10 teams have actually played football, Philly is 8-2, 6-4 against the spread, and 4 to the over, 6 to the under. Philly is on 7-game win streak, and they're on a 3-game cover streak and 3-game win streak as far as that's concerned against the spread. It's been 1 over and 2 unders in the last 3, and those were against Dallas, Washington, who both teams who have been struggling to score, and then an over against the LA Rams. Next team they play is Carolina, then they see Pittsburgh, and then they see Washington. Whereas Baltimore in the last 10 games they played, they're 8-2 straight up, 6-3-1 against the spread, and it's 8 to the over, 2 to the under. In the last 3 games, they are 2-1 straight up and 1-2 against the spread, where it's been 2 overs and 1 under. All right, and the only under was against Pittsburgh, offensively challenged team. Head to head, these two teams, Baltimore does won it 3-1. It's been 2-2 against the spread. It's all been overs every time these teams have been. So if you've been blindly betting Baltimore versus Philly over, it's gone over every single time they've ever played. Okay, now looking at these trends. The Philadelphia Eagles have covered the third quarter spread in 8 of their last 10 away games, whereas the Baltimore Ravens have hit the second half money line in 11 of their last 15 games. The Philadelphia Eagles have hit the game total under in 13 of their last 21 games, and the Baltimore Ravens have hit the game total over in 14 of their last 22 games. The Philadelphia Eagles have hit the fourth quarter game total under in 8 of their last 10 away games, and the Baltimore Ravens have hit the fourth quarter game total over in 13 of their last 19 games. The Philadelphia Eagles have hit the second quarter money line in 11 of their last 18 games, and the Baltimore Ravens have hit the second quarter money line in 12 of their last 19 games, guys. All right, so which way am I leaning and why? Well, the Ravens have won each of their last 12 games against NFC opponents. The Eagles have lost 5 of their last 6 road games against AFC North opponents. The Eagles have failed to cover the spread in each of their last 7 games in December, and the favorites have covered the spread in each of the Eagles' last 4 Week 13 games. The Ravens have won the first half in each of their last 10 home games against NFC opponents, and the Ravens have scored the first touchdown in each of their last 12 games against NFC East opponents. The Ravens have won the first quarter in each of their last 6 previous December home games against NFC opponents, man. 7 of the Ravens' last 8 games have gone over the total. Each of the Eagles' last 4 games as underdogs following a road win have gone over the total points line, and 6 of the last 8 Sunday games at M&T Bank Stadium have gone over the total points line, guys. So right now, Philadelphia rolls into this matchup on a 7-game win streak. They're playing some great football right now. Eagles are gashing teams on the ground with Barkley and Hurts, while Brown is making huge catches down the field. Baltimore also has a great offense, but their defense has not been very good this season. Philadelphia Eagles definitely have the defensive advantage in this game. I just don't know if it'll be enough. So for me, I'm definitely leaning towards Philly over their team total of 23.5 points. I'll probably get to the window on that. Yeah, I'll probably get to the window on that. The Philly over the 23.5 points. I understand why there has been a little movement on the line as far as towards Philly. That's why it came down to the 2.5. If I was going to take the game, I would probably take, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I would probably money line the Eagles. And give Lamar Jackson his first loss in the last 12 games against the NFC opponent, man. The thing is that the Eagles have a mobile quarterback, so it's easier for them to simulate what's happening in that game against Lamar Jackson, whereas other teams don't have that ability to simulate what Lamar Jackson does on that field. So that's why I would have to go with the money line of the Eagles, and I'm definitely going with the over. But I don't know, man. What do y'all think, man? Let me know in the comments what y'all like in this game. Yeah, this is a tough one. This is definitely a tough one, man. I think Baltimore stands a chance to win this game, man. But I really like that team total, Eagles team total, and the game over. Because I know that in order for Baltimore to win this game, they're gonna have to score some points, because they're gonna give up some points. They're gonna give up some points passing. It's gonna happen. So Baltimore's going to have to get out here, and they're going to have to stay consistent. Todd Monken's going to have to call a good game. If Todd Monken can call a good game, they can win. So maybe I'll take it 2.5, and then I'll take the Ravens money line. I don't know. This is just crazy. Y'all let me know what y'all think, though. Definitely getting there with the over. Have a blessed day. Stay safe. I'm going to see y'all holler. Whatever, man. Peace.